Well, the global reveal event has now come and gone, and I have a summary of all of the new info here for you. This year we are getting new dungeons, a new zone, a new class, a new endless dungeon system for you and a buddy, and more. If you are new here to the channel, welcome in. I'm Skinny Cheeks. I do a lot of content for ESO, mostly focusing on DPS builds, but also keeping you up to date on the important news. So let's start at the top. This Friday, January 27th, we are going to be getting a preview of the two new dungeons on ESO Live at 4 p.m. Eastern. The dungeon DLC is called Scribes of Fate. You can delve into two new 4-player PvE dungeons and battle your way past the twisted acolytes of the Scribes of Mora in Scrivener's Hall, or contend with the temporal magics of Bal Sonar. Each dungeon is set to challenge you and your team with normal and veteran difficulties, including hard mode, and features its own quests and rewards. We don't really know too much about it yet, but we don't have to wait too long either. If this ESO Live is like past dungeon previews, we'll have Finn walking us through the dungeons and likely get a sneak peek at some of the new gear sets as well. So I'll definitely be watching that, and we'll likely post another video if we do end up getting anything juicy from it. So this means that it is extremely likely that the PTS will be Monday, January 30th. They almost always follow the dungeon preview up with the PTS on the following Monday, so that's what I'd put my money on this time as well. This means we should have patch notes on the way really soon, and I'll definitely be breaking those down for you all like I normally do. Next up on the roadmap for 2023 will be the typical prologue quest, free for everyone, as an introduction into the new chapter coming. And this year, that new chapter will be Necrom. We do have a release date, June 5th for PC and June 20th for consoles. Necrom is located on the Telvanni Peninsula, just northeast of Stonefalls and Deshaun. There was a ton of lore and discussion about the setting. I won't go too deep into that here, but it does look like another dual set of zones to explore, similar to Skyrim and Blackreach. First is the main overland Necrom area, but then also in Apocrypha, which is the realm of Hermaeus Mora, so a bit darker and spookier setting there. Then the big new feature with the chapter will be a brand new class, the Arcanist. This class is based on channeling the power of Apocrypha, so you'll see 3 skill lines heavily themed around Hermaeus Mora. If you like to play offense when wielding the destructive magics of the damage-focused Herald of the Tome skill line, you manipulate arcane energies to bombard your foes with damaging blasts, beams, and more. This includes active abilities such as Rune Blades, which launches lethal projectiles at your foes, generating crux as you do. We'll get into crux in just a minute. Prefer to play a supporting role with the restorative curative runeform skill line. You can make use of healing runes to keep your party or yourself healthy, shield your allies from damage, or even help them navigate the battlefield via portals with the Apocryphal Gate ability, which summons a passage between worlds. If you like to play defensively and protect your allies, the magic of the Apocryphal Soldier skill line allows you to dominate your foe's attention, buff yourself or your party's defensive capabilities, and even conjure an explosive damage shield with the Runespite Ward, which can be improved with Crux. So about Crux, the Arcanist class also introduces a new combat mechanic, Crux. As you activate certain Arcanist class abilities, you generate Crux, which you can save up and spend when activating other specific abilities. The more Crux you generate before spending, up to a maximum of 3, the more your ability is empowered when you do spend it. How you utilize the crux generating and spending abilities in your combat rotations can have a major impact on your effectiveness, so plan accordingly. So this is what they referred to in the preview as a combo point system. They did mention that it won't be too technical, and they are aiming for it to be something that all players can get a handle on. We got a pretty decent amount of footage of the class in action, showing off some of the skills, and I have to say the animations and effects look really cool. We did get the name of a couple of the abilities as well. Apocryphal Gate is a portal that you can open up to change the way that you traverse the area. The design looks really nice on these. And then we also have Abyssal Impact, which is essentially growing tentacles out of your arm and smacking your enemies with them. Lovely, I guess. One thing that they did cover at the end of the class discussion that I'm not 100% sure I understand, the Black Books of Hermaeus Mora. They said that our tomes will be based on these and will be sort of a cookbook that you glance at every so often to spice up your spells. And they said you'll come across other tomes as well. I really don't know how deep this is supposed to be interpreted. I think it's likely it's just a flavor thing, but definitely going to keep my eye on that aspect of it going forward. Overall, I think the Arcanist looks pretty cool. I'm super excited to dig into it further and see how the abilities will function, especially alongside the other existing skill lines that we already have access to. And if you are worried about not having a character slot to make an Arcanist, they did already post that we will have the max cap bumped up to 20 characters, up from 18. Everyone that purchases Necrom will get 1 character slot for free. If you want an additional, then that's going to be something that you will have to purchase. As far as the contents of the chapter itself, most of it will be stuff that we are pretty accustomed to getting, like the Overland Story arc and Zone. We will be getting 2 new companions. One of those will be an Argonian Warden, and the other companion will be a Redguard Arcanist. Then we have the world events, public dungeons, delves, and the 12-person trial, which are all pretty standard additions for a new chapter as well. They did also mention that the new trial will be called Sanity's Edge, venture within the tormented mind of a Mages Guild recruit, saving them from a fate worse than death. So that sounds like a pretty cool theme for a trial. I'm pretty excited to see what that's going to be all about. But really, as far as new features go, it's really the new class that is that outside of the norm, brand new feature that will be coming with the second quarter release. But they didn't stop the discussion there. We also got a small bit of info on the Q3 bug fixes and quality of life. This is a bit of a swerve from the normal dungeon DLC that we would get in Q3 each year. They said they wanted to take more time out of the year to focus on this kind of stuff. The polish is what they referred to it as. So we didn't get a whole lot of new info, but Rich did mention an all-in-one attunable set crafting station, which seems pretty cool, especially with how much room those things are taking up. But he also mentioned a pre-made group finder, which I'm not really sure what he meant there since we already have a group finder. Maybe he was just saying they're wanting to bug fix it so that it functions better. Or maybe this is a hint at the group finder working for other activities such as trials. Not really sure there. We'll have to wait and see. And then to wrap up the year for Q4, we have the new system coming in. For update 40, he said the team is working on something really epic, and he described it as an endless dungeon with a buddy. Unfortunately, that's all we have to go off of right now, so let the speculation begin. Reddit is already at it. Starkrealm said it can work. The idea of an endless procedural dungeon is nothing new, just a little weird for ESO. Always Bananas said, they said with a buddy. I hope that means it scales properly for a 2-person group. I play with my wife, and having some meaty content to duo would be awesome. Altanas says, a direct copy of Final Fantasy XIV's one would be fine. Hundreds of floors. Every 5th or 10th floor will be a mini boss or mini bosses. Progress saves every 5 or 10 floors for coming back and resuming progress. And there's a ton of other comments on here. I'll have it linked in the description below if you want to dig through it. But people sound like they're pretty hyped for this kind of system. And this is exactly the kind of thing I was hoping to see come this year. I didn't really care what the specific thing was, but I really wanted a new activity to participate in with my character. Tales of Tribute was a new activity, but your specific character doesn't matter at all for it. So all the time you spent putting your gear together, unlocking your skills and leveling them, theory crafting, gaining champion points, none of that really mattered. But this sounds like a new way for my character to interact with the world, which I'm all here for. So I can't wait to get more details on what this system's going to look like, but overall it has me pretty hyped. And oh yeah, I almost forgot the biggest bit of news, the return of my girl Naryu. But I think that pretty much sums up the news that we got. Like I mentioned, there will be another stream on Friday with the ESO live at 4 p.m. Eastern covering the 2 new dungeons, so I imagine we'll get a good bit more info there. But thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think about the new features, specifically the new Endless Dungeon system. What do y'all think that's going to look like? Special thanks to my Patreon supporters and YouTube members. The contributions help a ton to keep the website and YouTube channel going. And a special thanks to Nicholas, Simon, Cougar's Bay, and the Cougar City Guild, the Order of War Guild, Cantankerous Cat, Shady, Iffy, Blake1816, Mordecai1212, Santanico, Vidridi, Florian, Phoenix, Nolandia, Unemployed, Cresseliana, and Cha-Cha. Thank you all again for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.